Good morning everybody, welcome to Carnation Crafts TV. I'm Laura, we have Bunny next door. Today's the first show of the day, so we are looking at our brand new launch. This launched yesterday if you missed it. This is Fruits of Labour. Now already 70% of the stock of this has gone yesterday, so we did do 3 shows with this yesterday if you want to catch up with any of the other shows. But this is our brand new collection. It is such a warm, heartfelt, such a lovely collection. You've got gardening, allotment theme running through here, but there's so much in here that you can break down and use on its own. So we'll start off with looking at the layered easel card shape. Now this is just going to be a staple that you bring in. So you can see there you've got these beautiful frame. There could be your card base, so you could use this completely on its own and have your card built up just using that on its own like this. So you can see there, you can use it like this, and you can see how detailed these frames are, and the pattern on there, a very detailed pattern. So you could use that for birthday cards, Christmas cards, wedding, anniversary, absolutely anything at all. You've got the smaller frame there, which you can also use for your cards. You've got your stoppers, you've got your tabs here to bring that decoupage out, and you've got your easel part there as well. So you can make an easel card just like Barbara has made there, like that. So you can see how that will come together, which just looks absolutely beautiful. And then we go on, let's put that back. So then we can go on to a small token. So you've got your 2 gardeners there. It could be the lady and the man, the lady and the lady. You can see their face is actually covered. So this could be for whoever the recipient is that you want to give these to. You've got your decoupage layers there to build up, and they really are the focal points on your projects with these. Then you've got around the allotment. So you've got all those seam building elements there that you can bring in, and they just elevate your projects, or those extra little touches that you can bring in. You've got that fence there, but you can build and make that as long as you want that to be. Then we've got our little squirrels, Harriet and Harvey. That was yesterday's suggestions for names on these. If you've got any other ones, do let me and Bunny know. You can see that you've got one there with a little spade and one there sat on the rock, so they're absolutely adorable, and they can fit into any of your scenes really easily as well. And then we go on to the local community. Look at that little naughty Norman, the gnome. We have there, we got your mushrooms, you've got those signs as well, and that lovely fence post there with the bird on top, which again, for me, so many different seasons you could use that for too. We've got home and gardens. You've got that lovely little cottage house there, and the sheds that could also be used for different things. And they're in proportion as well, so you can pop these elements in front and you'll have those there in the background. And then we have home grown. So those are going to be your grounding elements. They can be used for your decoration. And again, when you break these down and look at them, there's so many collections that you'll have at home that you can use these with. They just work so well building up those scenes. Now we also have in this show these frames. Now these were 50%. 50% of the stock of these have already gone. These launched yesterday as well. So these are our frames. Now you've got the Fruitful Figs, the Plum Peaches, and you've got the Plentiful Pears. Now, if you took away, for me, if I took away the names, these look like beautiful frames with foliage in and leaves that I could use all year round. And you've got that lovely door. That could be a fairy door. It could be the Tooth Fairy door. It could be a Christmas card. It could be this one I was saying yesterday, made me think of like a Hobbit door, or like a little fairy house. There's so many different ways that you could use these. They are such large dies as well that you're getting. So you've got 3 matte layers in the back. So even if you've used them, just like this one, that is just the card base matte layer, and it looks so pretty because you've got that difference there in the base straight away. So it really does draw your eye in because you've got that point of difference straight away, and that's not even using the actual frame itself. But you can see there, you can have the doors open as well. They've got little cut lines, so you can just pop those little holders that are holding that door in, and then you can have it so that door will actually open. So you could have like a little secret message in there. You could pop some little fairies in there. You can do so much with them. Christmas cards as well. And then we've got the circle one. Oh, I'm so sorry, Bunny. And then we've got the circle one as well. See, and you can do the same thing. Look, you've got the little window. Look, and he's just popping up out of there. Boop. So there's so much you can do with these. Now, I'm just going to mention before we go over to the boards, we've also got the perfect papers that you can see here. You've got 48 sheets. They are A4 in size. They are 300 GSM though, okay, so they are card weight. Now you've got lovely colours in here that coordinate perfectly with the artwork. If I just pop that there so you can see those florals, you can see you can pick any one of these colours and it just works really well. Now you do get the solids. In this one you've also got that check gingham style, but then you've also got the daisy in this one as well. So they work really well with this collection. Really, really usable. I love the way Carnation do the patterns in the perfect papers because they don't draw your eye away from the artwork or from the dies. They just fit really nice. Right, let's go through the boards so we can see exactly what each die contains. So this is the layered easel card shape to start off with. Now, like I've said, there's so many. This to me is just a staple one you'll use all year round. You've got that lovely big outside frame that you can use, and just so you can see, that is what that looks like. It's such a detailed die, and again the design on there, you know, it just looks like a really intricate pattern. So that's going to be all year round that you can use this for, and the same with the smaller one as well. So you can see this card here has been used. Your card is actually the smaller part of this, so you can see what a nice size this is. If you do want the sizes of these, if you click on the description of the die on the website, it will give you the exact measurements of the die. You've got your stopper part here for the easel. This is the part that will go on the back to make the easel. And then you've got your decorative matte layers in there as well. So again, all year round, you will absolutely use that one. Then we've got around the allotment. These for me is just, this is one, for me, it's the one that you overlook, that you might think, am I going to use that? And this is the one that you will use in every card, because you'll add in the fence, or you'll add in a bucket, you'll add in something to build in to make your scene. I think every card I grab, you can see there's elements from this die. You can see there in the background, you can see the watering can, you can see the fence. It just builds everything and just pulls everything together, even down to like the little hat and the bag that you can pop on the fence, or you could pop the hat on the chair. You could add flowers into the basket, you can add flowers into the pot as well. There's so much you can do with that. Then a small token. These are just so incredibly detailed. Look at these. They look absolutely amazing. You've got your decoupage here as well. Oh, who was that of? So Rebecca Wilson has messaged in saying that she thinks the gardeners should be Tom and Barbara. Ah, yes, we've got a Barbara on our DT, haven't we? Tom and Barbara. Ah, there you go. We'll go with Tom and Barbara. So I think we've got a name for everybody now, haven't we? Oh no, we haven't. The bird. We need a bird now. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, just our bird. Right, homegrown. So again, this. Now, I was saying this yesterday, but this set on its own is one that I think you will bring into so many other collections that you've got at home already. When you bring these in, these on their own are just, they're the perfect grounding elements every time you build a card. I think I'm going to use these in my first demo, so I'll show you exactly what I mean. But when you place your dies down, as soon as you pop one of these just under it, it completely grounds it and it changes the look of them completely. You know, your card goes to an image where it looks as if it's just stuck there or slightly floating to it's now in that scene. So I honestly think you will use this with so many collections you have at home already, and because they're florals, they're nice bright colours, there's a mix of different colours in there as well, it will go with so many other collections you have at home already. Then we've got home and garden. You know, these are just those perfect elements to pop. You can see there, look, in the background. Obviously you could bring it to the focal point if you wanted to, so you could have it like a new home card, build these up. But I was saying yesterday, these almost made me think of like beach huts as well, so you could like cut some up, use them separately, make a more summer scheme. You could put yeah, the cottage, you could add snow on top and make that more like a Christmassy card, so that could be like the Christmas cottage in the background of a Christmas scene, so you can really build those up. Local community, I love him, I think he's so cute. And then this image is just such a lovely image. You've got the post there with the little bird on top, your mushrooms that you can build in again, and then you've got your signs. Now I was showing you yesterday and I will today, there's so many ways you could use these. You could just stamp on these, you could pop that on there, you can pop this post on there, you can pop two of these across each other. There's so many ways that you can change and mix and match these up, and I will show you some with the design team cards as well. Then we've got Harriet and Harvey, the naughty little squirrels. You've got buried for safety. You can see him there, like with his little shovel, and you've got the other one here sat on that rock. And these again will just fit into those scenes. You can see you've got one there, look. So they're just absolutely adorable. They'll just fit in, and like the one I showed you earlier, where you've got one there, look. They just work really well. Again, so detailed as well. And then we're going to move on to the frames. So this one is the figs. Now, when I look at that, it just looks like an ornate leafy frame to me that I know I could use that all year round. I can imagine that in black cardstock, and with the door kind of gives me more of a castle, like a gothic-y Halloween type of vibe if I had it in silver and black. But then I can also imagine it in red and gold and it working for Christmas, or I can imagine it in green, in pink, and it being a fairy door. There's so many ways that you can use these. You've got those matte layers, so you can have them like we showed you just as a card shape. Looks amazing. But when you bring in that frame, you can see how incredibly detailed it is. I still think that looks like the Welsh three feathers. You can't, can you? I think that they put that in and then designed the whole thing around the Welsh three feathers. Yeah, just because I must have been in the day he was drawing it, and that's just what came to his mind. And then we go on to the plum. And so this is the plum peaches. So again, you've got that lovely shape in here. I know yesterday, I'll see if we can find it again today, I think it was this door, one of the design team had just used the door. So they'd actually just cut that out and just use the door on a project. So there's so many ways of using them. And again, really big size dies these are. So they're going to be perfect for your card bases as well. And then you've got the plentiful pears, which is such a pretty design. Look how detailed that is. Even if you didn't want the door, you know, you can put a matte layer in the center if you're using it for like Christmas cards or anything like that. I mean, just like that in white. It looks so pretty, and you wouldn't know, you know, unless I said to you, oh, those are pears, you wouldn't know. It just looks like a really ornate background that you can use. So those are the three frames. let's grab some of the DT samples so we can show you some of these to see different ways that the design team have used them. Oh, are these different ones to yesterday? Oh, we've got different ones. Look at this one. It's got a little handle on the door. Ready? And you got the two cheeky squirrels in there. Oh, this bit opens up as well. Who did this one? Janine. Yeah. So another way. It's cute. I like how Janine's used the floral as like a spray on the top. So you've got one going one way and one going the other way instead of using it as a grounding element. Then I've got another one here. Oh, there you go. This is one. Pam, where she's used just the door look. That's so cute with the little gnome. I just think he's so cute. He's got like a cheeky, chappy vibe going on. Really cute. And then I got another one there then by Janine. That's like really drawn back, isn't it? Really like clean and simple design with that one on there. Then I've got another one here. Oh. Sue has done this one for us. Look at that. It's so pretty. I really like the designs on the card shapes. I just think they look really different. Oh yeah, so you've got the flowers added into the pot, and then you've got that there. So that's using the easel mechanism part from the layered easel card shape that you get in the collection with the figs frame. That one was, and then I've got another one. Sue did this one. Look at that. What I like about when we look at the cards the design team have made, they could be for absolutely anything. It could be a get well card, a retirement, new home. It could be for absolutely anything. A birthday card, but they'd be able to be used for any occasion at all, which is what I love. And the artwork as well. When I think about the artwork, it's never anything that's going to be out of season. You know, I think, you know, when I look at that, I think that reminds me of my grandfather when I was really young. But like, it also reminds me of like my dad now. So it's never going to not be in style. There's always going to be that person in your life. You're always going to look at that and think of somebody that you can give it to. Right, let me grab my demo and we'll get started on a card. Let me pop that there. Right, we're going to use the figs frame to start off with. Now I've got 2 sheets of card here, so we've done the outside mat first of all, because like I said, you've got a lot of dies in here, and you can see you've got 3 matte layers in the back before you even get to this frame. So you've got a lot in there to work with, which is how you can make the card bases look so good without going in with a lot of I was just going to grab my glue and realised, no, let's change. Right, let's stick this down. So I've just got some white cardstock, and this is the outside layer to start off with. So this is going to be that largest die in the set. And then I've got my cardstock then. So then I've done exactly the same layer again, but this time I've done it with the perfect papers. So this is that lovely check, kind of like gingham style. It's really lovely. It fits with the artwork so well. I mean, it just makes me think of like going on a picnic, like a garden picnic, or it just fits really well with the artwork. So I put that on there. Then the next layer we're going to go in with, I've gone in with white. So that's just going to like calm the background down a bit. So I've got my white layer from the next die. So we'll pop this on with some foam just to raise this one up a little bit. I keep getting messages about the foam. The foam is coming, but I've spoken to Mark and we're waiting for a delivery, so we should have it soon in white and black on the website, because I keep getting asked about it. I keep getting messages. So that is just going to go on there like that. Oh, so we've had a message of Aubrey, who is Audrey saying, good morning to me and Bunny, good morning. And she's waiting for her postie to deliver. Oh, that's exciting. I wonder if she's printed everything. All of it, the download, she's printed everything ready to go. Yeah, my favourite bit is when I've printed it, because whenever I print something, I always look at the artwork and think, oh, I love the colours in that, or like that looks so detailed. And then as soon as you cut it out, and obviously the die is adding all of those detailed cut lines, and it cuts out, and then you pull it out for the first time when it's die cut, and you kind of just look at it and you're like, that is so detailed. Like, I thought it was detailed before, but now it's detailed. It just makes everything pop. Oh, and Chi-Chi for the bird name, Chi-Chi. Oh, that's a nice name, Chi-Chi. I don't think I've ever heard of Chi-Chi before. Although now I'm saying it, I feel like I do. I must have. Oh no, Bunny's saying the same. Chi-Chi. I don't know why that really goes for a bird name, I feel. Chi-Chi. I think we need to start getting you mic'd up, Bunny. So everybody can hear your bird impressions, yeah. Right, so we've popped the frame down. Now the next thing I've done is, now I've cut out the door, and I've cut the door out in different colorways. Okay, so when you're doing that, don't feel like you have to cut out the whole thing. Just get a little bit of scrap paper, or cut a little bit off that you don't need, and just cut it enough to cover that door on your die, because that's all you need. The other bit you're just going to cut away anyway. So I've cut it out again in white, and I'm going to pop this in with some foam tape. So I'm going to raise this up, and then I've done the exact same thing again and cut it out in that green color. Okay, so if you want to do something like this, you can just use bits of scrap that you've got left, or if you've got, if you're doing it in the same colorways, just cut a little bit, because you only need to put enough cardstock on there just to cover the door. You don't need to cut out the whole thing unless you're going to use it for something else. And then you've got all those cut lines in there, so you're not fussy cutting anything. You're just following those cut lines and just snipping those little bits that are holding it in away. So you don't have to worry about trying to fussy cut anything. Right, that is just going to sit there like that. So that's a bit raised up. And then, like I said, done it again now, but this time with the green. So that's going to sit on there. So I'm just going to add some glue to this. And then we can pop that on there like that. And then, because of how I've cut that out, that little bracket I wanted to add in as well. So I've just got a little bit of glue. And we'll add that on there. So those bracket part we've added in, and then the next thing I'm going to do is add in that window. So just pop some glue on there. And add that window frame. There. So you've just got that 3D part in the middle, and it just brings more attention to that door. Obviously, if you're using it, the other thing you could have done is cut that bit away, so obviously the door opens. So it's just different ways of using that. Now I'm going to bring in our, oh, what was her name? Barbara. We're going to use her, and I'm going to turn her the other way so you can see. So that's if you do it single-sided, but this one I'm going to use the reverse, so obviously printed out in the mirrored vignettes. And let's add in. Now this one, I'm gonna just hold that kind of so I know where I'm going. I am gonna kind of use this as my, almost like my grounding element, but I am adding in flowers and things on top of that, so kind of, but that just gives me my bottom to fit in. But if you weren't doing that, so if you were maybe, pop that down. So I know that's a bit big to go on there, but let's just say we were putting the sentiment at the top, and then we add her there, and add him in, and even add that in there. Let's put them a bit closer. Even though it looks really pretty, it just looks as if I've put her there and I've put him there. But just bringing that in, and just even put them there, it brings it all together. So you've got that grounding element, and you can do the same with the longer ones as well. Even, I haven't got one of the longer ones here, but even with these ones, you know, just adding them in just to create that scene on the bottom and ground everything together. You, on any scene, any park, you know, these could be the dogs, the cats, they could be absolutely anything that you want to bring in. That will help just bring those together. So this is why I said that this collection I feel like you're going to use with so many other collections that you've got already. So we're going to have him there. Let's grab some pin flare. So I'm just going to give these flowers a little bit of shape. And then add that there like that. So that is going to go there across the bottom. Let's add the decoupage on here before I forget. So the decoupage for these flowers, you can really go in and build these up. So you've got, now this one also works really well with the pots that you've got. You could cut this, pop that into the basket. You could have that hanging from the flower pot as well. So lots of different ways to build up the decoupage with these ones as well. So this one, I've just glued the wrong side. I didn't reverse it. Do you know what? Let's pop that. We're going to make the bouquet bigger. Pop that there. Let's grab another one and reverse it. And then pop that on there like that. I quite like that with the other one there behind there now. That was just a happy accident. I feel like everything we're crafting is from a happy accident. We all try doing things and we think, oh, I can do that. Let's pop next one on. So got that one there, and then I'll just add in a couple of the little single flowers just to add in a bit more detail. Oh, Linda has a message saying good morning to Laura and Bunny. Morning, Linda, and saying that she is patiently waiting for Norman and his friends to arrive. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, it's nice that I do normally say that we normally get messages of people saying that they get, you know, either they get their orders delivered today or they're waiting for their orders to get delivered today. But obviously we can't guarantee that will happen, but it's so nice when something comes the next day. So we're going to pop, actually I'm going to put this one down first. Let's put these flowers in. So that's going to go there. I'm going to pop these here. And then I'm going to pop them there, and we'll bring Naughty Norman. And we'll pop him there like that. Right, before I stick that down, I'm going to pop the sentiment on. So I've got "You are wonderful." So we'll pop this one in first before I put it on the card, just so I don't squish the rest of that down. So I've got that. So the writing is in white, and then you've got the same Perfect Papers colourway there then to go with the background. And then we can just bring that. Actually, I'm going to pull him up so he looks as if he's sitting on the writing. You got that there. You are wonderful. Oh, I think he's so good. He's a proper cheeky little chappy, but he's cute, isn't he? Yeah, you are wonderful on that as well, so that could be absolutely anything. And when you look at the whole design of the card, it could be for absolutely any occasion all year round as well, and especially bringing in the frames, because different colorways, they are going to look completely different. So there's so many different ways that you could build these up and bring them together. But they're such a lovely collection, and it has been super popular because we were 70% of the stock had gone when we started the show. So that was from yesterday. So it was our launch day yesterday, and we did get to 70%. So it has been a really loved collection, but I can see why, because I just think it's such a usable collection in so many different ways, and it's never going to go out of fashion, and one that can work with so many collections that you might have at home already as well. And especially with that layered easel, because that is just a staple one that you'll use again and again and again. Right. Let me move that. Right, so on this one we are using that layered easel card. So we're going to that way. Alright, so let's make the card shape. So I am going to use this as a card. So I've just got a bit of craft card, and I'm using it's almost like it's not orange, it's like a, come on bunny, Oh, and it's like a really yeah, like a dark beige, a really dark cream color. And Bunny's going with an earthy color. It's a lovely color. Should we just you've got a light cream and a dark cream. This is the dark cream. So when you look at the perfect papers there, you can see you've got a lighter cream and then the darker cream. So this is the darker cream that comes in there. So I've cut out the outside die from the layered easel. So you've got that now as your base. You've got the craft card and the perfect papers, and then I'm going to go in there with the next layer in craft card. I think it's just because it is that shade darker, I don't feel like you see that often in like a creamy beige color. It's like you either get cream or you get brown. There's no in between. It's one or the other. So we'll add this on. So you've got your next layer then in craft card. Oh. So we'll pop this in there, and then you've got your next layer in that same colour from the perfect paper. I would add this in next. Now the next layer is the actual frame. Now for this one I've gone in with craft card, and I've also gone in with Elevate. So what we're going to do is build this frame up a little bit. So I've got a layer cut out in craft card, and you can really see how detailed you see how detailed that frame is, and it's such a lovely pattern, so it's going to be all year round. And you can see you've just got little bits there that hold that inside layer in. So if you want to cut this out, like I've done in some of them, and some of the design team have done, like there, so you can see that's raised up, really easy to just snip those little bits, and then you've got made that into a frame then with that aperture in the center. So I'm just going to add a bit of foam on here because I want to try and build this base up as much as I can. And then, so we've done that base now. So we've done this frame in craft card, so we've cut that out. And then add some foam tape on and pop this down. Then the next thing we've done is done the exact same thing again. Is that the right way around? Yes, it does. So we've done the next thing we've done is do the exact same thing with craft card, but this time I've cut it out on a sheet of Elevate. So what we're going to do is pull the frame out. So obviously I've kept it on here to bring in. So what I've done is I've gone around the inside with my craft knife to remove those little bits. I've still got that left, so I could use that for something else. But then I've got this frame then in Elevate. So if you do want to try Elevate, maybe you've never tried it before, this is a really nice way. Oh, do we? Oh, Bunny's saying we have little tester packs of Elevate. So if you haven't tried it before, that might be a nice way to go. But now, can you see how that just, how much height and texture you have in that? And that's all I've done is just do the matte layers that are in the die set, and then I've added the frame on in Elevate, and that could be absolutely anything. You could add it like this. Look at that. You've got all of that detail in that frame. You've got the mattes and Bunny saying it looks like a custard cream. Are you hungry, Bunny? She wants to eat it. I think she skipped breakfast this morning. So you can see, look. But now that, you could go with that in so many different ways in that colourway. Oh, we do. So you get 4 sheets of the Elevate tester pack. Are they 2 of the different sizes? So we do have a tester pack of the Elevate. You get 4 sheets in there. It's $4.99, $5.99 for the 4 sheets. You'll get 4 sheets of A4, 2 are 2mm, and the other 2 are 1.5mm. So that's a nice little pack, yeah, to have a go with if you've never, or maybe you've seen it and just thought, you know, will I use it? Is it, you know, is it going to work properly? Will it die cut? Because it does still die cut beautifully when you run it through. Obviously, if you use the thicker one, you know, don't try cutting out something really intricate, like a sentiment or something. Like that is not going to work. But for, you know, your images, this frame, things like that, it's going to be absolutely perfect. Right, so let's build up a bit of this background. So I've got the fence. We're going to add this in, but I've also got, I keep calling these tabs. It's like a 3D box, Bunny is saying. So you get this in the layered easel. So you're going to cut this out. You've got everything in the die. Okay, the die does all the work for you. You've got score lines in here. So you just fold those and you'll see it kind of comes back together to make a rectangle. Okay, so what you're going to do then is just pop a little bit of glue on that tab. And then close that. I just like to give it a little pinch with my tweezers. And you've got that rectangle with the tab on. So this tab now will fold. Now you could use this as the stopper. So it could go up like that as the stopper for an easel card. Or what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave that. And I'm going to stick this on the front of my card to give me some more height. And the nice thing about this, if you are somebody that does a lot of posting of your projects, if you pop that there, so you can see how high that comes up, but then the nice thing is it will fold flat and it'll just pop back up. So if you are somebody that likes to, you know, send cards in the post, this is going to be perfect for you. And then you can see I can glue that now on the back of that pot. And then on the front, you're not going to see any of it, but that's going to really stand out now. So let's pop that on there. Let's pop some glue on here. Ooh. Come on, glue. There. Right, so if you put this on there like that, so you can see now that's glued on there, but look how much that is going to stand out from the card. So if you, especially with things like this, if you really want to get those different layers in there, you know, to have that there like that, it's really stood out. Obviously I will glue it down now, but then if I just pop that there for a minute, you can really see how much you can really get different layers in there. And the nice thing with this as well is you can also pop different things in. So you could even pop like something in behind there, so it's still at a different level than the others as well. So let's start. So I'm going to start from the back. So we're going to pop in this frame. I'm just going to leave that there to kind of gauge where that's going to go. Right. add some glue onto this fence, and the fence has got the design that if you want to cut out multiples of these, so you could add more on, so you could make that the length of the card, you can make these as long as you want, which is really good. So depending on what type of card you're making, what size, you can change the fence, or obviously you could cut them as well, so you could snip into it. So if you only wanted like that little bit there, you know, you can just snip that little bit off. So you've got different options with that. And then I'm gonna add in that there. One of the design team, I don't know, I've stuck there, has used these and has used the decoupage from the flowers, so the single flower decoupage, and popped the single flowers around like a little flower art. I'll have to see if I can find it now. Because I don't think it was in the... Oh, hang on, I've got it. It's Pam. So you can use a single decoupage and add that, and look, like with the little bird in that. How cute is that? New home. It would be. Bunny just said that would be nice for a wedding card. But especially that background as well. Like if you change that for a bride and groom, it would work. Or like the garden. It just works for so many different things, doesn't it? Really lovely. So that's another idea of what you could do with that. Now I'm gonna bring in, no, let's add this in first. Pop this in there. Now what I'm gonna do with this, because obviously that is gonna go there, and this I want to just ground this element here, but you can see you're not gonna see from there. This bit is gonna be completely covered. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just snip. And you don't need to be careful with this because obviously that bit's going to be covered anyway, but I'm just going to cut it in half. Okay, so I'm going to pop this in first. Just grab some pin flour. And then I'm going to pop this part in here just to ground that in there. And then let's add this in so I can kind of gauge where we're at. Oh, actually, do you know what I'm going to do? Because we can, let's add that in. And I'm going to tuck that there, like that. Which looks a bit odd, but you've got the flowers behind her. But when I add that in, it just looks like the flowers are just there. So let's pop this in there. I'm just going to use my tweezer just to push that down. So I've got that pot there like that. And then I'm going to add in our squirrels, and I've got a sign. So these little posts, they just, as soon as I seen these, they made me think of, do you know, like the little sticks that people put in the pots, what to say what's in the pot when they're like babies starting to grow. It made me think of them. So when I seen it, I just wanted them to be sticking out like that. So that's what I've got 2 of them, and I've stamped the sentiment on one of them, and I'm just going to stick that on there like that, like a little sign, just on a little bit on the wonk like that. And I just thought that just works really well. And the stamps I've used in all of the demos are from the Clean and Simple range, so they will all fit in here really nice. This one just says, "You mean so much to me," and that just sits in there nice. So we're going to pop that in there. So we've got our little sign. That's going to go in there we've had another message off Linda saying that she's also waiting for her delivery and another stunning collection by Carnations. Thank you. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, just think, by this time tomorrow, people will have already started making their cards. And then I'm going to pop him in there like that. And then you've got, you mean so much to me, but can you see how much that will stick out? But then it'll also fold flat as well. So if you are posting, it's going to be perfect for that because it will go flat, but then it'll also bounce back as well. So you're not going to flatten it when you are posting, but it does work really well. Oh, Bunny's just asked if I've got my cards that we did yesterday. I do. Right, so we've got that one. So we did that one just using the frames as matte layers, so without using the actual frame itself. We've got that one there. So I wanted to try, I have tried mixing up using like a base card instead of just using because there's so many card bases in here with the easel card shape and the frames. So just trying to mix that one up a bit. So we've got one there with the frame made into like an aperture. This one I think is so cute, using the smaller frame as the card base itself, using the circle, and just we went all in on that one with the flowers. It was just flower overload with that one. And then this one I've also used Elevate, so exactly how I used Elevate there, I've used Elevate on this one as well in the framework, because I wanted to do white on white, but I really wanted that frame to stand out, so I really wanted to get the height in that frame. So I've used Elevate in there as well. So I've used a sheet of Elevate with white and cut out that frame, and you can really see the detail in that framework. Then we've got this one using the peaches, and we've got this one using the figs that I am now dubbing the Welsh tree feather. Look, you can see it plain there. I'm gonna cut it out and and then we've got this one where I've used that easel again as that frame. That one made me think of like a photo frame, but you could absolutely use them as photo frames as well. Like just cut the frame out and use it as a photo frame. And one of the things I was saying yesterday actually, because the Fruitiful frames, my grandparents had a pear and a peach tree in their garden, and there's a picture of me climbing this peach tree because the peach tree kind of went up and it broke, it just went in two different ways, so it was a really easy tree to climb. So I've got a picture somewhere of me climbing this tree, and one of the things I was saying was you could cut the door and you could use the door as the actual photo frame part, which would be really nice. Let's whiz through these so you can see exactly what is in. Let me just move these out of the way. Let me just pop them there for 1 sec. Right, so we'll start off with the easel. So this is the one that we just used. So that lovely frame, like I've just showed you, use that smaller inside frame as well. You've got your stoppers, you've got the easel mechanism, so really easy to build up the easel with that one. And again, all year round you'll use that. You've got around the allotment, so all of those seam building elements that you can bring in, all those little elements, just add in and build those scenes and make them look, they just take it to that next level. It's that little extra detail that you can bring in that really does make them come to life. Oh, then you've got, what were their names? Barbara and Tom, that's it. Barbara and Tom. Oh, and you can see these are so incredibly detailed. The artwork in them look at the detail in all of those florals. You've got the baskets there with the fruit, with the flowers in. Like, you've even got a little present buried in there. There's so much in there. You've got your decoupage there as well, so you can really build up those areas and make them look so incredibly detailed. Homegrown, so all of those grounding elements, those scenes that you want to bring to life, you know how we just showed you that they will just bring everything together. They ground everything, they pull that scene in and make it come to life instead of it just being like placed there. These will elevate your projects. Then you've got home and garden. I instantly want to put white on there and just make it into like a Christmassy scene. You've got this one with the sheds, that they could be beach huts. You could break them up individually and use them on their own. There's so many different ways. You could even use them as like a festival type card. Like they could be the little like pod, was it like the pod things that they stay in, like glamping. You could use them like that. The local community, this one, I love this one. You've got such a lovely image there with the post with the bird on. You've got the mushrooms, you've got Norman there, and then you've got the signs as well. That, like we said, there's so many different ways that you can pop them together. If you want to use them like this, if you want them to just be sticking out of the flowers, or you want to use the actual circle part as the main bit, like that one, that you can stamp your sentiment on. So many different ways that you could use them. And then we've got our cheeky little squirrels, Harriet and Harvey. So you can see there with the little spade, and you've got him there on the rock. So that's the full Fruits of Labour collection. And then we've got the frames collection as well. So you've got your Fruitful Figs, which I think everybody knows now. This one is my favourite one. You've got your Massilias and the lovely doors there as well that you can bring in. That was one that we demoed in the first demo that we did. So you can see there how different it looks in different colourways as well. They're not leaves. Bunny just asked me what are the leaves on the Welsh flag. So it's the Welsh. I think it's just the rugby. Yeah, but it's 3 feathers. But the way that the feathers are is I'll show you after the show, because it looks exactly like that. Then we've got the plum peaches. So you can see there again. Don't forget you can cut into the door as well, into one side, and it'll have that bracket that you can open. And then we've got the pears frame as well, which is such a detailed one. And this, you know, when you look at that, there's so many ways you can use it. Because if you hadn't said to me that's pears, I wouldn't look at that and think, what is that in the back? It just looks like a nice leafy designed border that you could use all year round. So you can mix this in for your Christmas cards, your autumn cards. They're going to work perfectly all year round. That does bring us to the end of the show. So me and Bunny will be back at 12 and 2 today. So if you've got any questions, maybe your delivery's been delivered by then, and you could be crafting along with us. Maybe you get your die cutting out and we could be crafting together. So hopefully, if you've got any questions, let us know and join us again at 12. So grab a cuppa and come back and join us at 12.